In the wild world of reality TV, some moments just don't make any sense. Moments that leave millions of people all asking the same thing: what just happened? During season 19 of American Idol, the competition had its clearest frontrunner in a long, long time. He was an 18-year-old from a small town in Washington, with a voice that was raw, powerful, and totally ready for the radio. The judges were floored. The fans were already sold. Katy Perry looked him right in the eye and basically called him the winner. He was the one to beat, a guaranteed star in the making, right as the live shows were about to kick off. Just as America was ready to start voting, Benson Boone vanished from the competition. There was no dramatic exit, no teary goodbye. One week he was the judge's golden boy, and the next, he just wasn't there. The host gave a quick, almost casual mention of his departure, and then the show rolled on, leaving behind a giant void of confusion and wild speculation. For a minute, it seemed like one of the most promising artists to ever hit that stage had simply faded away. But his story didn't end there. In fact, his disappearance was just the beginning. He was the clear frontrunner, the guy Katy Perry said could win the whole thing. Then, just as the live shows were starting, Benson Boone disappeared from American Idol. No explanation. No goodbye. Fans were left scrambling, wondering what happened to the 18-year-old with that incredible voice. Well, this is the real story of why Benson Boone walked away from a guaranteed career, not because he couldn't handle the pressure, but because he was chasing a much bigger dream, on his own terms. A dream that would eventually lead him to a multi-platinum smash hit, a global tour, and even a stage shared with rock royalty. If you love stories about your favorite artists, you know what to do: hit that subscribe button. To get why someone would walk away from the opportunity of a lifetime, you have to know who they were before that opportunity ever came knocking. Before the bright lights of the American Idol stage, before millions of TikTok followers, and before a record deal with a rock icon, Benson Boone was just a kid from Monroe, Washington. It's a small town known more for its state fair than for churning out pop stars. By all accounts, Benson's childhood was totally normal. He was the middle child with 5 sisters, a charismatic, high-energy kid famous for his backflips and goofy charm. Music wasn't the plan. It wasn't even on the radar. For the first 18 years of his life, becoming a singer was the last thing on his mind. He was focused on school, sports, and just being a teenager. The moment that changed everything came in high school, and it was a complete accident. A friend's band needed a singer for their school's battle of the bands. They were desperate. So they asked Benson, who was known more for his daredevil stunts than his singing. He'd never seriously sung in front of anyone before. No lessons, no training, no idea what he was doing. He said yes, probably with the same casual sense of adventure he brought to everything else. What happened next was like a scene straight out of a movie. When Benson opened his mouth to sing, the voice that came out shocked everyone, especially him. It was a voice with this natural, untrained power and a raw, soulful quality that you just can't teach. His friends were stunned. The crowd was hooked. And for the very first time, Benson Boone realized he had a gift. A crazy, life-altering gift he never knew he had. The experience lit a fire in him, and a little bit of curiosity quickly turned into a full-blown passion. Like a lot of people his age, he took his newfound talent to TikTok. But he didn't start out posting music. His first videos were just him being him, funny skits, crazy backflips, and relatable content that quickly built him a following. But that battle of the bands performance stuck with him. So, he decided to test the waters and posted a video of himself singing. The reaction was insane. Comments flooded in, just a tidal wave of shock and encouragement. His followers, who came for the flips and jokes, were blown away by his voice. It was obvious this was more than just some hidden talent, it was his calling. Video after video, he showcased his raw vocal power, and his follower count exploded past 1 million. He was building a fanbase right from his bedroom, completely on his own terms, long before Hollywood came calling. With a booming digital career and new confidence in his voice, the universe decided to raise the stakes. Benson didn't go looking for American Idol, the show came looking for him. Scouts for the reality competition, who are always hunting for new talent, found him where millions of others had, on TikTok. They saw what everyone else saw. A raw, marketable talent with a built-in audience and that it factor. He got the invitation and decided to take the leap. Walking into that audition room was a huge moment. He was about to perform for three giants of the music industry, Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and Katy Perry. It's an intimidating moment for any artist, but for a guy who'd only discovered he could sing a year ago, it was completely surreal. He chose to sing "Punchline" by Aiden Martin, a song packed with emotion and vocal challenges. From the first note, it was obvious this wasn't some average audition. The raw power in his voice filled the room. It was technically imperfect, sure, but it was emotionally flawless. You could hear he hadn't had formal training, but that's what made it so special. It was pure, unpolished talent. The judges were hooked. Luke Bryan was practically seeing dollar signs, recognizing a radio-ready star. Lionel Richie watched with a sort of fatherly pride, like he was witnessing the birth of something new, but it was Katy Perry's reaction that defined his whole Idol experience. She was completely sold. After he finished, she didn't just say he was good or had potential. She looked him right in the eye and delivered the line that set the bar impossibly high. "Benson, I'm gonna tell you something that I don't normally say. I think you could win American Idol." It was an incredible thing to say so early on, basically crowning him before the competition even started. Luke Bryan agreed, adding, "You're a true artist." With three huge yes, he walked out with a golden ticket to Hollywood and the massive weight of expectation on his shoulders. He wasn't just another contestant anymore. He was the frontrunner. His journey through Hollywood week only cemented that status. He proved he wasn't a fluke, consistently delivering powerful and musical performances. He breezed through the duets, group rounds, and solo performances with a confidence that didn't match his inexperience. The judges' prediction looked more and more like a sure thing. He sailed into the top 24, which put him right on the edge of the live shows where America gets the final say. The path was clear, a straight shot to the finals, a potential win, and the massive career that comes with it. Everything was going according to plan. And then, he ripped up the plan. The stage was all set for Benson Boone's primetime takeover. American Idol was heading into the live shows, the part of the season where contestants become household names. The top 24 had been announced, and Benson was the clear favorite. Fan blogs, social media, and recap articles all said the same thing the judges did: he was the one to beat. He had the voice, the look, the backstory, the complete package, and then, nothing. As the top 24 got ready for their first live show, Benson Boone's name started disappearing from the promos. When the show finally aired, host Ryan Seacrest made a quick, throwaway announcement that Benson was no longer in the competition. There was no big explanation, no farewell video, no emotional goodbye. One minute he was the heir apparent, and the next, he was just gone, with no official word. The internet did what the internet does, it went wild with theories. Had he been secretly kicked off the show? Was there a family emergency? Did the pressure of being the frontrunner get to him? Fans who had been rooting for him felt completely blindsided. They'd been sold a story about a future champion, and now the main character had disappeared without a trace. The show offered no more details, quickly moving on to the other contestants, just like the reality TV machine is designed to do. The silence from both the network and from Benson himself was deafening. It turned his exit into one of the most talked about moments of the season, and for all the wrong reasons. The question that hung in the air seemed to defy all logic. Why would anyone, especially an 18-year-old on the verge of fame, voluntarily walk away from the biggest opportunity of their life. From the outside, it looked like he'd fumbled the winning lottery ticket right at the goal line. What nobody knew was that this vanishing act wasn't about fear or failure. It was a smart, calculated move in a much bigger game, a game he planned to play by his own rules. The mystery that baffled millions was really a declaration of independence. So, why did he really do it? Why walk away from a guaranteed path to stardom? For weeks, everyone wondered. Then, slowly, in interviews and podcasts, Benson Boone started to tell his side of the story. The answer was way more strategic and artistically mature than any of the fan theories. He didn't quit because he was scared of failing, he quit because he was scared of succeeding in a way that wasn't true to him. The biggest reason was his own artistic identity, or lack thereof. "I had no clue who I was as an artist," he later explained. People forget that when he auditioned, he'd only been singing seriously for about a year. He hadn't spent years writing songs and defining his sound. He was a vocal prodigy, but a musical beginner. The American Idol machine is built to take an artist, package them, and shoot them into the market at warp speed. Benson realized that if he went through that process, he'd be turned into a product before he even knew what kind of artist he wanted to be. He'd be forced into a box, pop, rock, soul, and might have to stay there for his whole career, all based on a version of himself that was still a work in progress. This led to his second, and most famous, reason: he didn't want the American Idol guy label. In one interview, he laid out his vision with amazing clarity: "I don't want to be the American Idol guy. I don't want people to be like, oh, Benson Boone. American Idol blew him up. I want to be Benson Boone because I write smash hits and they love my music." That's an incredibly sharp take for a teenager. He understood that winning Idol, or even just being a finalist, could be a beautiful trap, where the show's brand would overshadow his own forever. He didn't want his origin story to be a reality show, he wanted it to be his songs. He was playing the long game. Finally, he had faith in a different path. He wasn't walking away into nothing. He was walking back to the platform where he was already crushing it. With over 1 million followers on TikTok, he already had a direct line to his fans. He understood the power of that connection, a power that didn't depend on TV networks or voting. He bet on himself, on his own hustle, and on the new world of the music industry where an artist with a phone and a killer hook could bypass the old gatekeepers entirely. When you put it all together, his decision stops being a mystery and starts looking like a genius move. It wasn't an impulsive quit. It was a brave, strategic choice from a young artist taking control of his own story, choosing artistic freedom over prepackaged fame. He walked away from American Idol not to end his career, but to finally start it. When Benson Boone left American Idol, the entertainment world moved on. A new winner was crowned, and the cycle began again. For most contestants who leave a show like that, the spotlight fades fast. It would have been easy for Benson to become a trivia answer, a "whatever happened to" story. But that was never his plan. His exit wasn't an ending, it was a strategic move to a different battlefield where he had the home field advantage, social media. He didn't mope or disappear. He went right back to work on TikTok. He doubled down on what got him noticed in the first place: his raw talent and his direct connection with his followers. He started teasing melodies in his car and posting snippets of song ideas from his piano. He was showing his work, bringing his audience into his creative process. This was him building his career from the ground up, with his music and his fans at the absolute center. It was during this time that his big gamble got its first major seal of approval. Dan Reynolds, the frontman of one of the biggest bands in the world, Imagine Dragons, noticed him. Reynolds wasn't just a fan, he had his own label, Night Street Records, in partnership with Warner Records. He saw what the Idol judges saw, but he also saw something more: an artist with a clear vision and the guts to chase it his own way. Reynolds reached out, and a partnership was born. This was the perfect move. Signing with an artist-led label gave him the creative freedom he was looking for. He got the best of both worlds, mentorship from a seasoned artist and the power of a major label behind him. It was proof that his decision to leave Idol wasn't a mistake, it was a sign of his integrity. With a team that got his vision, Benson got to work. In late 2021, he started teasing a powerful, emotional ballad he'd written about the ghosts of a past relationship. He posted a raw, acoustic clip of the chorus from his bathroom, of all places, for the natural reverb. The clip exploded. The sound went viral on TikTok before the song was even out. The hype was huge. In October 2021, he officially released his debut single, Ghost Town. It was an instant hit. The song charted in 13 different countries and racked up millions of streams. It was the ultimate proof of concept. The gamble had paid off. Benson Boone didn't need American Idol to get a hit. He had just made one happen all by himself. Ghost Town wasn't a one-off. It was just the beginning. Benson followed it up with a string of hits like the heartfelt ballad, In the Stars, and the upbeat, Room for Two, proving his versatility and his talent for writing pop anthems that hit you right in the feels. He was no longer the guy who left American Idol. He was Benson Boone, the artist with the hits. Then, in January 2024, he released the song that changed everything, Beautiful Things. The song was a masterclass in dynamics, starting with a soft, vulnerable verse about finding love and happiness before exploding into a raw, screaming chorus about the terror of losing it all. That feeling resonated with everyone. The song's rise was meteoric. It became a global phenomenon, topping charts all over the world and climbing to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. Beautiful Things became one of the most streamed songs in the world in 2024, a massive achievement for any artist, let alone one who had voluntarily walked away from the industry's biggest launchpad. This success opened up a whole new world. His debut album, Fireworks and Rollerblades, released in April 2024, was a smash, landing in the top 10 of the Billboard 200 chart. The validation from his idols started pouring in. In a wild full-circle moment, Taylor Swift hand-picked him to open for her record-breaking Eras tour at London's Wembley Stadium. The milestones just kept coming. He received his first Grammy nomination for Best New Artist and delivered a show-stopping performance at the 2025 awards. Then, in April 2025, he played Coachella, one of the biggest music festivals in the world. In a now legendary set, he brought out a surprise guest, Brian May, the iconic guitarist of Queen. The image of Benson sharing a stage with rock royalty to perform Bohemian Rhapsody was a powerful statement. During that same set, he announced his second album, American Heart, which dropped in June 2025 to keep the momentum going. To support it, he launched the American Heart World Tour, a massive arena tour hitting legendary venues like Madison Square Garden. The kid who worried about being defined by a TV show was now a Grammy-nominated, global superstar selling out arenas under his own name. When you look at Benson Boone's career, it's a modern-day blueprint for success. His story proves that the fastest path to fame isn't always the best one. He was faced with a choice: take the pre-packaged career American Idol was offering, or bet everything on his own vision. His decision to walk away wasn't a mistake or an act of fear. It was the single most important and strategic move of his career. He chose the harder road. He chose the uncertainty of building something from scratch over the guarantee of being handed a brand. He chose a long-term vision of artistic integrity over the instant fame the show could provide. In doing so, he traded a potential crown from a panel of judges for a global kingdom he built himself, one viral video, one heartfelt song, and one sold-out arena at a time. Benson Boone's story is the ultimate proof that sometimes, the biggest leap of faith isn't stepping into the spotlight, but having the courage to step away from it to build one of your own. What do you think of Benson's decision? Was it a crazy gamble or a genius move? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love stories about artists who do things their own way, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more.